Greetings, my fellow eagles and the entire world. This is Eagle Emmanuel Mensah with inspirations and assistance from Eagle Helen Mensah in the non-physical world, coming into your homes and your minds with a message of empowerment and enlightenment, all the way from Ontario, Canada. Today is the 22nd of May in the year 2024. And the Bible says we should rejoice and be glad in it. And therefore, I call upon the whole world, everyone listening to my voice, to join me to give thanks to God and to rejoice in this beautiful day that God has granted unto us. Today, I am going to speak to you on the topic, the relationship between your emotions and your physical activities. And as I have always been doing for the past weeks, we are discussing the power of our emotions and how our emotions has direct relationship with every aspect of our life. And so yesterday, or the day before yesterday, we looked at our emotions and our body. And yesterday, we looked at the emotions and even our finances, how we feel about money. And so today we are going to move on and to look at the relationship between our emotions and the physical activities that we call work. This is a practical situation or practical topic that we are dealing today. Every human being on earth has what we call work, even if it is not a formal thing, job that you call work. In your life, in your own home, sometimes you have to sweep, you have to keep your house clean, you have to cook, you have to do all other things. These are our physical activities, and they are more or less work that we do. They are not different from what we do in our offices. And so today we are going to look at how our emotions affects all these activities as we go on in our lives. And it is a mathematical fact, which is every one of you, you're the one listening to me, you know it yourself, that what you call your line of duty at work or your job, there are some activities that you've been doing every day. But at times, some of these activities or the very activities that you've been doing and you claim that you enjoy, at certain times, the same activities, when you begin to do them, you feel tired. It looks boring. Nothing attracts you to do the work. But the fact is, they are the same activities that you've done in your previous days and you have really enjoyed. What is the cause of it? In the same way, there are some things that sometimes you have done and enjoyed. You really love doing. It may not be your job, your work, but maybe at home. You love cooking. But at certain times, when the idea of cooking comes into your mind, you feel lazy. You don't just have the urge to do or to get up and do the cooking. What is the difference? Because what we are talking about is these activities doesn't change. And if they are something that we love, and because of the way they are, that is why we love them, then there can never be any moment or any time in our life that we will feel like not doing them. And so all these things are our emotions. Your work that you do for your livelihood, your money, it all depends on how you look at it. And so sometimes you do some of the activities and you enjoy them. Sometimes you hate them. Or you don't even have the urge to do. These are all matters of emotions, but not physical. And so when you go through this kind of situations or feelings, and you think just getting up and walk that you are activating your body, then you are doing the wrong thing. Doing any other things to activate yourself without looking at how you feel about that particular activity, then you are doing the wrong thing. Well, in most cases, and if it is done properly, if you look for something to engage yourself and completely forget about that particular thing, that activity that gives you joy at that particular moment will bring you back to the state of mind or state of being that when you come back, you'll be able to do that particular work without feeling that those negative emotions or energy. And so in our life, we know that sometimes when you are trying to solve a problem and you can't do it, you leave it. And then when you go, do something different. As soon as you come back, or even in most cases, once you are doing the other thing, then the ideas begin to flow through your mind. Then you come back, you sit down, and you are able to do that work very wonderfully as you wanted it to be. This is not about the physical or any activity that you've done, but the fact is that you only use that activity to distract yourself from the negative thoughts that you've been harboring about the particular activity that you didn't love doing prior to that. And so when you get to a point that you do not have the energy, you do not have the enthusiasm to do whatever you are doing, it is an indication of you having negative thoughts about whatever you are doing. And since you have negative thoughts, and as I've always explained this part of the situation, once you begin to entertain negative thoughts about any situation, it could be the work you are doing or even about your wife, your husband, your children, once you are doing the activity, that negative thought disconnect or brings about misalignment with you and your source, the source of well-being, energy or ideas, the strength, enthusiasm, joy, happiness, and all this are like a stream a stream that is flowing, just like the air that is flowing around us. And it is only when you are open to them, then they enter you and they quicken your body. So your body is only responding to what enters you from your mind or the energy level. And so when you are doing something and you lack energy, the simple but precise information given to you by the universe is that you are no longer connected to the source of well-being, the source of energy that is supposed to quicken you for you to do that work efficiently. And that is why you are feeling that way. And so the only thing you have to do is to find a way to bring yourself back. And that is why normally, as I've already said, and we all know, they said whatever you are doing, if you are struggling, leave it down. Let some time pass over it. And then when you come back, you see that you are refreshed. You have a new energy to do it. It is not because any physical thing that you are doing, but it is because you've managed to detach yourself from the negative thoughts that you were harboring about a particular thing. And since you have used something to trigger or to bring yourself in alignment with the stream of knowledge, understanding, wisdom, or well-being, as soon as you come back, there is a direct flow of everything that you need to do that particular activity. And so your body is simply responding to how you are thinking. And your thinking, the difference between your thinking and the thinking of your source, your inner being or God, however you want to call it, is that determines your emotions. If your thoughts are in alignment with God or source, you will feel positive energy, and therefore there is a direct flow of energy and wisdom, ideas, everything that you need flows through you, and therefore you do the work and you enjoy it. But when your thoughts, whatever thing that you are thinking about, the thoughts are in a disagreement or a negative thought, therefore you are no more in alignment with your inner self, your source of well-being, then you feel tired. At that time, you are using your own body, you are using your willpower, and that has no power to sustain you to do the work. And therefore, what you feel is the laziness, lack of enthusiasm, tiredness, and boredom. So all these things are not because your body is tired, But the tiredness is a negative emotion that you are feeling. The boredom is a negative emotion that you are feeling. But they came about as a result of your disconnect from the source of well-being. Just as any pipeline connected to the river or the lake would never cease to flow. In the same way, a man or woman that is continually connected to his inner being, to the source or God, at any time or all the time, such a person will always be a vibrant person, and there will be no activity that you put before that person that the person will struggle, because there is always a flow of ideas, a flow of energy, a flow of wisdom. Everything that is needed to tackle any situation is continually flowing from above or from the universe through the person. And so your body is only demonstrating to you how you are in the inside. If you are disconnected from yourself in the physical and yourself in the non-physical, if you are not aligned, then your body will tell you, hey, I don't have energy, because the source of energy is cut off. Therefore, work yourself back and connect me to the energy. And then the energy begins to flow through you. Then you are energized. And that is why the very activity that sometimes you feel energized to do, sometimes you don't have that energy to do. It is because of the misalignment and then coming into alignment. But if you are wise enough and you are able to keep yourself in that positive realm, that you are connected to yourself, you are connected to the source, the higher being, that is the source of everything that we need on earth here, you will always be a vibrant person. You will do your activities 24 hours, such that you will never feel bored. You will never feel any negative energy. Yes, there is a truth that our bodies sometimes need rest. That rest comes about only when we exercise. But that one, as soon as you get off and then relax, you are able to bring your body back to the normal state that it's supposed to be. But what we are talking about, this boredom, laziness, and other things, are a kind of habitual thing that it comes that it is not about your body being tired. Someone wakes up in the morning, and even as soon as he gets up, the person is already tired. He feels bored. There is no energy. There is no enthusiasm in that person. But the person slept over 8 hours. So that has nothing to do with what we need to do to bring our body to a state that we'll be able to do a physical activity. It goes beyond that. It goes beyond that. And it has to do with the negative emotions that we emit as a result of we entertaining negative thoughts. And our negative thoughts being at variance with the thoughts of our inner being. Therefore, we do not have the source. We do not have the energy. We do not have power running through us. Just as if you disconnect your electric iron from the power source and you attempt to iron your dress, it's more or less you deceiving yourself. It is the same way that a misaligned person who is doing all things on the physical to accomplish a particular task is daydreaming, is deceiving himself, because he cannot do it. He's only going to break himself, or you're going to break yourself, unless you connect yourself to the source of well-being, the source of everything, just as you need to connect your electric iron to the source of electricity or the electric power for you to be able to use it and enjoy it. And so everything in our life is about emotions, but the emotion begins with how we think. Whatever you are doing, you are supposed to look at everything in your life from the positive side, from the higher perspective. And as you do this, you get yourself into the frame that you are always connected. You are like the pipeline that is connected to the sea or the lake. So long as the pipeline is open, the water will not cease flowing. In the same way, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, your soul, source, is open and is flowing around us all the time, 24 hours a day. It is our responsibility to open up and allow whatever thing that we need from source to flow through us. And so, you are not just an object that you have to carry your body anytime, just to go and sit down and do your work. That is why it is very important that when you wake up in the morning, you are supposed to prep yourself, put yourself, your mind in the right frame. Do not go into activities, do not go into things that will bring you negative emotions, that will arouse you to think negatively, to bring about negative emotions. If you can avoid news, and it is well documented that most successful men in the world, when they wake up in the morning, they do not read the news, they do not listen to any of this thing, they don't go to their phones, but they make sure that they put their minds in the right frame. And therefore, when they go into the world, anything that comes to them, they are able to respond to it because they connect themselves to the source of all things. And that is how you're supposed to do. Before you go to bed, prepare yourself. Tell yourself, speak to yourself how you want to wake up and what you expect the following day. When you wake up, begin from that point and let all your worries, all your troubles, bury them behind you, or bury them under you, or leave them behind you, and move into the world with the right mind, with the right positive attitude, with the right mental attitude, that is positive attitude. And you will see that you will prosper, you will thrive in everything that you do. You are a human being that is controlled by your emotions. By your emotions are your indicators. They are messages telling you that you are either in alignment or you are out of alignment with the source or your broader perspective, the rock that your life is built upon. And therefore, you need to bring yourself back home. So it is more or less like the prodigal son in the Bible. That prodigal son story actually paint this picture clearly. The son wandered away, and when he realized that he was no longer receiving the protection and the guidance and everything, the wealth of the father, he came back. And when he came, the father welcomed him back into the home and then gave him a wonderful reception. In the same way, God, energy, universal energy, source energy, or your soul, everything, they don't change. They are static. This energy, this presence is static. It does not change change its mind or anything about us. And even it doesn't matter how you will wander away. The moment you begin to come closer to it, it embraces you and reconnects you and begin to work with you. That is when you say you are co-creating with God. So the job you do, the activities you do at home, everything that you do in your life, you are not doing it alone, but you are co-creating with a very high power. You are co-creating with God to do it and do it beautifully. And it is only when you are in alignment with God, or you are on the same wavelength with God, in thinking that the good and the beauty in God will flow through you. And so that is my message for you. Be careful and pay attention to how you feel, the energy, the strength, the ability to do anything is not coming from your body, but it is coming from a higher source. And it is only when you link yourself to that higher source that you get the energy, you get everything flowing through you. And they say you are a human being who is operating on this earth as you're supposed to be. And as the Bible says, St. Paul said, in him we live, move, and have our being. You see, it is God who worketh in you, both to will and to do for his own good pleasure. All these things are biblical statements affirming and confirming what I'm telling you. Your body is just a container. There is a powerful being. There is something greater than you think in you and around you. And it is that thing that is working through you to accomplish whatever it desires. So whatever activity that you are doing God's work. That is another topic. But today, the message is that listen to how you feel and respond to how you feel. If the feeling is good, continue doing what you're doing. If the feeling is painful, it's negative, then you know that you are out of alignment. Therefore, bring yourself back home. Be the prodigal son and make your way back home. And the Father, with his open arm, will welcome you home and then give you a beautiful and a wonderful welcome. So that is my message for you. And as the book of Proverbs says, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, in all thy getting, get understanding. The understanding of how you operate as a human being at the emotional level, thought level, and the resultant emotions are the key, or is the key to the successful life. Anything that you will do in your life, anything that you will do on this earth, it has to be done in such a way that you receive the power and the strength from the source. Otherwise, you would break your back. And that is why we have many people who are discouraged. They try everything, is not working because they are trying to achieve things based on their willpower. But the willpower will not take you anywhere. So that is my message for you. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And now I say, may the overshadowing presence of God that keeps the stars in the open such that they do not fall on us, that keeps the planets in their orbit such that they do not clash with one another, keep you and guide you, that you'll be awakened to this truth, that you will take whatever you are getting from me and then just move on and conduct your own research and dive into your own self-discovery. What I'm doing here is just giving you some kind of overview. I am not able to explain these things in details for about 15-20 minutes. That is not enough time. But as a human being, you have the right to also go on to discover. And as James Allen said, the only time that a man begins to live as a human being, a man or woman begins to live as a human being, is when they have started discovering things for themselves. And that is how I end my message. Thank you, and God bless you.